Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is the Super Flow Bro podcast. It's been about 2 weeks. I missed talking to you guys. I am once again Marcus Flowers at One Marcus Flowers on all social media platforms, and I'm here with my co-host.
You know who it is. Metro Meta, Momo Flowers, the Oracle, be out here.
And we are on Volume 2, Episode 8 of the Super Flow Bro podcast. Now, before we dive right in, it's been about 2 weeks. How's your past few weeks been, Morgan?
It's been good, you know. We apologize for the record last week. My power went out for whatever reason, and I had to figure that out all day. But it's been pretty chill, been pretty interesting hearing all this juicy news that's going on.
Yeah, we'll get to that. You just want to hop right in?
Yeah, let's go.
Alright, so we're at the front porch. First of all, this is kind of a little bit of old news. Nick Cannon versus Kanye West. Morgan, do you know anything about this?
I heard about it. I heard Nick Cannon sent out a wild, awful diss track to Kanye West. You know.
Well, it wasn't a diss track. He said something about being partners with Kanye West's wife, Kim Kardashian. And which I completely respect, just because that probably it wasn't in Nick's best interest to but talk about Kim Kardashian, just because that is another man's wife. You need to keep your thoughts to yourself. But Kanye West went on Instagram and he called out Nick Cannon, he called out Drake, he called out Tyson Beckford. And it's interesting because Kanye has embraced that he was in the sunken place, and we'll jump more into that shortly. But Kanye West basically said, I was in the sunken place and I was on medication, and I couldn't necessarily talk back to you when I couldn't talk back to you just because I wasn't in the right state of mind to defend my wife and to defend my family. I have absolutely no problem with Kanye West defending his family. What I do have a problem with is him blaming it on being in a sunken place. Because if you know the sunken place is from Get Out. And it's just like being so down and just like life and white supremacy and all that other stuff that you aren't able to distinguish fantasy from reality. But it's just like he also blames like medication, which I don't want to say I commend him for trying to get the proper help that he needs. But at the end of the day, excuses are excuses, and that's what you're basically feeding us. But Nick Cannon responded, and he said, "Hey, I'm glad you're from the second place. Come on, Wild and Out. We can do a show or whatever." And I just find that I find it interesting because Nick Cannon found a way to make the most of this, because Kanye West, he has an album. I think it drops today. But
Another one?
yeah, it's called like Yandy or something, but whatever. So yeah, I think Kanye has fully embraced the second place. Not fully. He's fully embraced that he knows how people. He knows how, like, I don't want to use this word loosely. He knows how the culture views him. And it's just like he knows, I don't want to say he knows he messed up, but like he knows where he's at. And so he knows what he needs to do in order to get back. And he's been on his rebrand tour talking about, he was in Chicago. He linked up with Corrupt again. Not Corrupt, Sahai and all those other people. And he got back to his old manager. And he's been trying to do the whole like rebrand, like, yo, I'm back to my roots, I'm back in Chicago, blah 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 blah. But Kanye West still continues to fail, because on today's Saturday, tonight's episode of Saturday Night Live, I don't know if you saw this, Morgan, but he is wearing a Make America Great Again hat with the Colin Kaepernick shirt. And it's just like, I get that you're trolling, but at some point it just comes off as disrespect.
Yeah. And Kanye West, he's sort of like, and we don't talk about this, but like there's this big thing like on the internet and in the white community is like these trolls, these people who do and say things because they think it's like and Kanye West is sort of the amalgamation or like a black of that, where he says things because it's edgy and he wants to be on the fringe.
Yeah, and it's just him being on the fringe is like cool when you like don't care, but it's just like at a certain point Kanye West loves like being the man and being the guy, so it's just like you can't you can't try to be the guy and troll us at the same time. Like we're gonna see right through you.
Yeah. Um, it's just he's a mess. But big shout outs to Nick Cannon though, one of the hardest working African American men out there.
Yeah, man, he it's been like crazy just to see like his growth from comedian to like where he is now to like head of Team Nick, Wild and now his like actually I even wanted to buy a pair of incredible headphones, but I think they ran out of circulation or they ran out of I forgot that's the wrong word, but they ran out of production. Yeah. But yeah, he's I've always supported Nick Cannon. Like he comes off like people say like he's corny, but he's like he's put so many people on and to like be bigger than him. Like he put Kevin Hart on, Cat Williams, he helped Mike Epps out. It's just like seeing him, he's never been shy to share his platform.
Yeah, yeah. He's definitely one of the. He doesn't get the credit he always deserves, but he's definitely one of the hardest working African American men out there.
Yeah. Okay, and I forgot to mention this when we started, but Morgan, do you know what next month is?
October?
No.
No,
Yeah.
November?
No. Wait, Morgan, you know your months? What's next month?
October. It's September now.
No, next month is Rocktober, baby. Rocktober is back for the second year in a row. The Colorado Rockies have officially made it to the playoffs. This is the first time in franchise history that we have gone to the playoffs in back-to-back years. And today is Saturday, so if we beat the Nationals tonight, we will. If we beat the Nationals and the Los Angeles Dodgers lose, we win the NL West, which means we get home field through the first round of the playoffs. Super exciting. Shout out to Kyle Freeland, who I believe he went to TJ. He went to Thomas Jefferson, and he set the Colorado Rockies franchise record for lowest ERAs. We've had German Marquez, who had I want to say 12 strikeouts in a row, which is a franchise record as well. Trevor Story has been playing out of his mind. Dahl has been amazing. Nolan's been kind of shaky, but he's trying to get back into the groove. And I hate to admit it, but even Matt Holliday, who I just do not like, he's been back in it too. So very excited. It's just a great feeling. Rockies baseball, we're back, baby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, so moving on. Do you know about Timothy Ann Burnside?
I do not. Who's that?
Okay, so Timothy Ann Burnside, she is the hip hop curator at the African American Smithsonian. Now,
right.
Why is this a big deal? Because Timothy, she is a Caucasian woman. Now, I have no problem with the Caucasian woman curating hip hop in the Black Arts Smithsonian just because it takes a team. But DJ Chubby Swag, who follows me on Twitter, shout out to you. He's based out of Washington D.C. He said he posted up a tweet that said why is a white woman curating hip hop music in the African American Smithsonian, and it basically was a crap show. We had Blavity Black Twitter, such as like DeRay, Simone Davis, April Rain, who their platforms were based off of getting black people included into these white spaces. They said what they said to DJ Chubby Swag was the same thing that like the Oscars So White and all of these other white dominated society, white dominated space. Say to them, she was like, well, April Rain, she said, why, who were there any black people that were qualified? There were no black people qualified. They didn't apply, which is basically the same thing that the Oscars said to her. So it's just the hypocrisy of the whole thing. And Chubby Swag, he like apologized, but then he like took it back. And then like Simone Davis, who's in her bio, it says speaker of the culture. She's like a political commentator for CNN, MSNBC, all the cable news networks. She said, "Oh no, you're not gonna come after my friend. My friend is more qualified than you." And it's very interesting because Timothy Ann Burnside, she said completely nothing about this. And it's just very weird that black people love jumping on a grenade that wasn't meant for them. Because Timothy Ann Burnside, she does have she's a white woman. And so it's just like you guys are jumping to defend a person who like a few years ago you would be going after. And so it's just the hypocrisy of the whole thing. Like it doesn't quite make sense. Like you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. The thing with having white people as curators in black museums, like, of course, it would be nice to have African American in those things, but when you're talking about an academic space, it's about credentials and it's about qualifications. It's
But
about what you can prove.
here's the thing. I will push back on you that because in the Harvard museum there is a hip hop section and they are curated by two African American women. So it's just like there are credentialed African Americans out there. It's just up to the Smithsonian and the people to reach out. Now I completely understand she's qualified. She deserves that job, but I don't like how much power that African Americans are quick to give white people. Like, does that make sense? Like, we're quick to give our influence away just to be accepted into these spaces that necessarily do not represent us. Like, I'm not gonna put this person on blast, but like I work with a person who passes for black. And it's like I know I know the other cool black guy, he knows, and like a few of the other black men I work with, they all know. And it's just like we see through you and like we see you trying to be accepted into these white spaces. But it's like when I talk to some of my fellow white coworkers, it's like, no, we know the truth. He doesn't he doesn't really rock with us. And it's like he tries to rock with us, but he doesn't rock with us in that way. And so it's very like it's very just like weird altogether. Like shout out to Timothy and Burnside for curating black hip hop, just because I don't I don't have a problem with that, but I do see why it would be an issue.
Yeah. It should be interesting how this develops.
Okay, moving on. So, Maroon 5 at the Super Bowl. Morgan, you put this on the docket. I'm gonna let you handle it.
I just why why like first of all it's going down in Atlanta. Like putting Maroon 5 in Atlanta alone, a city that like thrives on hip hop culture, is already upsetting. But you know what? NFL, they had some trouble with like the MAGA community, and they're not trying to make them mad anymore. I get that you want to have a white band. I get that. But why Maroon 5 though? Why Maroon 5 though? Like even I talk to people who do listen to like that type of music and they're like, yeah, Maroon 5 hasn't put out a good album in like a good couple years. Like since I was in middle school, like why Maroon 5 though? It's such a like it literally lacks edge. Like it's such a just a basic band.
Now, I'm not too sure about this, but I was reading that Cardi B will also be in the Super Bowl halftime performance. I could be wrong. I am looking
They
at
can
a.
add in as many. They can add in unless they literally add in another band to play during Maroon 5. All the like special appearances aren't gonna like cut out because it's still gonna be them. It's still gonna be Maroon 5.
See, and but the thing is, Morgan, the demographic that people that people want for the halftime show, they're not the demographic that the NFL wants to cater to.
I guess I'm trying to see what demographic Maroon 5 is going to attract.
I mean, it's a safe bet. It's just a safe bet. You can't really go wrong with the Maroon 5. Like people are gonna be watching the Super Bowl anyway, so I will not be watching, but people will be watching the Super Bowl anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I've never watched the Super Bowl.
Okay, moving on to the living room. Anthony Joshua should be a household name. Do you know who Anthony Joshua is, Morgan?
Nope.
Okay, so Anthony Joshua is a British boxer. He's based out of Great Britain. And last week, that's also why we didn't record. I was watching a fight. Last week, he defeated Alexander Provokin in a TKO. And I say this just because he's basically a star over there in England. He fought in the Wimbledon Stadium, which is like, I want to say it fits like 90,000 people. I could be wrong. I'm just guessing, but like he packed that stadium out, and it's very interesting just to see the difference between boxing in overseas and boxing in the United States, because I don't think there is a boxer alive that in the United States that could fill out like a Invesco Field or a Yankee Stadium or anything or a Madison Square Garden, something like that. And it's just like he should be a household name because like he basically is he's charismatic, he has the flair, he has the looks, pause, but he just it just it like it really just like shows the difference how boxers are treated overseas compared to the United States, because the United States just like we don't support combat fighters like that. Like we're very much drawn to like the big shiny object. We'll get into more of that later. But like we're drawn into like the Floyd Mayweathers. We're drawn into like the Conor McGregors. We're drawn into that's basically it. Anthony Joshua is basically the third biggest boxer in the United States behind Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Like, and I just think that's ridiculous. He should be bigger.
Yeah. I mean, you also have to think about like boxing isn't as big as it used to be.
Yeah.
In America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like most combat, I think this is something most combat sports are like suffering from, but like nowadays there's so many other sports and less people want their children to be involved in it comes to the point to, unless it's like a big cultural event, most people don't really know what's going on in the boxing community. And then the problem becomes the only individuals who can make those cultural events are either boxers who are already well known for back when it was like hype, and boxers who just like are well known for being just jerks and people want to get them like beat up.
Yeah, definitely.
But Creed 2 is coming out Thanksgiving. That's supposed to be amazing. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. It looks pretty dope. Okay, so do you know who Cody Wilson is?
Nah, man, where are you getting these people?
Cody Wilson is the designer for. He was the designer of the 3D printed guns.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
So he his charges were like child like sexual, and I want to get what he did right. So I don't want to give you guys false information.
I mean, the ideal that somebody who would make a 3D printed gun is deeply disturbed and probably has some problems with it. Something I think we all could have seen.
So he's the designer of the 3D printed gun, and he was jailed on a sexual assault charge. Now, the crazy thing about this is there was a warrant out for his arrest, but as soon as the warrant got out, he flew to Taiwan.
Oh man, he just left.
Yeah, like he
That's
left the
totally
states
disappointing.
completely, and of course, once he got to Taiwan, they like arrested him and sent him back to the United States. But it's sexual assault. Let me read. Let me get. Okay, U.S. Marshals brought Wilson, 30, back to Texas to face charges that he paid a girl $500 for sex in Austin, where he lives. He's being held on a $150,000 bond. Um, yeah, so yeah, it just goes to prove that like some people just shouldn't have the internet. I am a strong advocate that not everybody needs the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes down to a lot of people see the internet as an open place, and they want everything internet to be open, and you just can't do that. It just opens up too many problems.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so last thing in the living room. Did you know Nike is still very conservative, Morgan?
I mean, yeah,
So there's been a big push for Nike to look more like socialist and like with their whole we actually committed them on this podcast about the 30th anniversary with Colin Kaepernick and supporting athletes like LeBron James, but more than an athlete, and Serena Williams, and of course Colin Kaepernick. And but there's an article that came out that Nike Nike's donations still mainly go to Republican based PACs and politicians more than Democrats, and it just goes to prove that companies at the end of the day they're all about profit. So whatever puts them ahead is what they're going to go for.
I mean, yeah, and that's what people need to realize is a lot of companies like to look socially responsible, but there's very few who actually like act on it and actually do work to benefit themselves. One of the ones I can think of is maybe like Rooster Teeth. Shout out to them. But the problem with the whole Colin Kaepernick and the whole Serena Williams thing is people have to understand that Nike is an interesting company in the fact that a lot of their promotion and a lot of their business runs through athletes and advertisements. So they have special bonds with like those people, and they work to create them. Like Serena Williams had them make her a special suit for when she was pregnant because of the way her body was reacting, and they do stuff like that. So they're going to appeal to those athletes as best they can, as well as appeal to the public.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, so that's it for the living room. Let's step into the kitchen. And have you heard the news about Instagram?
Yeah, it's Founders Life. That's interesting. That's very
Yes.
interesting.
So Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger, the co-founders of the photo sharing app Instagram, have resigned and plan to leave the company in the coming weeks, adding to the challenges facing Instagram's parent company, Facebook. And on another related note, make sure you check your Facebook because 50 million accounts have been hacked. So yeah, make sure everything's up together. But yeah, so basically, they're leaving over creative differences, and in a statement, they said they are ready for their next chapter, and that they would look to create something new. So basically, they're probably going to take a few weeks or months, or maybe even a year off to like view the landscape of like the app sharing, the app network or tech in general, and and as part of their statement, they said, we're planning on taking some time off to explore our curiosity and creativity again. And that is key because under Facebook is very much a machine there. Like if you're not on the bandwagon, you got to get out. And it's basically creators will always find a way to create, even if they have to face against a machine. And at the end of the day, they have enough capital to say, yo, we can take what we have and create something new just because creators are always going to find a platform, are always going to find a way to continue to create.
Yeah. it's definitely going to be interesting what sort of social media they create because I think like now we're sort of getting to that time where the social media like war is starting to like die down. Like Instagram basically just murdered Snapchat. Basically just took everything Snapchat did and did it. And Facebook's still pretty hopping, but it's still like going down a bit in America. Instagram's pretty popping, but it's not that popping. And we have like different social media for different reasons. Like Instagram, people are promoting themselves. Twitter's just people go there to get angry. And so with I feel like this is the time when a new social media giant could come out of the brink, and they definitely have the expertise and the backing to do it. Because like me and you, we grew up back in the time where social media, like there was usually one big one, and they'd always like just get rid of the other one. Like uh, live chat got taken down by MySpace, which got taken down by Facebook, and it's actually kind of strange to see multiple social media thriving at one moment. So this is definitely going to be a paradigm shift.
Yeah, definitely. So more Facebook news. A hacker said he'll live stream deletion of Zuckerberg's Facebook page. And Chang Chai Young, sorry if I mispronounced that, he told his 26,000 plus followers on Facebook that he is scheduled to go live by Friday afternoon. The stream may be canceled. And according to Bloomberg, the self-proclaimed bug bounty hunter is a minor celebrity in Taiwan who's appeared on talk shows and was reportedly sued by a local bus operator after breaching their system to nab a ticket for just in Thai, which is 3 cents. And earlier this month, he shared a screenshot showing an Apple Pay loophole he found that allowed him to pay 3 cents for 500 iPhones. And his other claims include cyber attacks on Apple and Tesla, and he's also listed on the Japanese messaging giant Line's 2016's Bug Hunters Hall of Fame. And he said, I don't want to be a proper hacker, and I don't even want to be a hacker at all. I'm just bored and try to dabble so that I can earn some money. Facebook, like other tech giants, dishes out cash to cybersecurity experts who point out flaws in the system as part of a bug bounty program. But considering all the setbacks it's currently facing, including the departure of Instagram's followers, which we just talked about, and its ongoing fake news crisis, it probably doesn't want to deal with the high-profile blowback right now. So basically, Facebook's saying the block is too hot. Don't do this. Basically, he could probably still do it, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, the thing about like those glitch bounty hunters, which are that's an interesting job to have. Honestly, just like all you have to do is find glitches and you sell them to companies. But the thing is, they run through since you are like beholden to the company for money. If they say don't do this live, and they usually don't want you to do it like live stream, like going out on TV and showing like major flaws in their systems, especially the big ones like Facebook and in certain companies. Like, if did you see the last week tonight thing on Facebook that they did last Sunday?
I did not know, sir.
Well, if you watched it, they talked about how I forget the company. It was like it was Myanmar, I think it was. Facebook there, because they're freaking fake news and everything like that, they've exploded basically a cultural genocide going on. But part of the reason why it's so important there is Facebook is the internet infrastructure in that country, and so much so that people refer to Facebook and the internet like almost interchangeably, like sort of like how we in America like talk about like Google and the internet. So they're a pretty powerful giant, and I know Facebook's got to be getting ready to make an even harder push at India, like all the other social media giants are right now. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So off of tech, we got some happy news. A rapist, a person who was raping people, is going to prison. Uh, Bill Cosby, the disgraced comedian, is going to prison from 3 to 10 years for sexual assault of I forgot the woman's name, but he's going to prison for 3 to 10 years, and it says a lot because I've seen this on social media. I've tried to steer away from it just because it's such a toxic topic, but I have to look at you differently if you're defending Bill Cosby. Just because, like, you say, oh, Bill Cosby's going to jail, but what about Harvey Weinstein? What about,
No, I feel like that is a good critique, though.
no,
Like,
it's not a good critique because,
everybody,
right, all right,
out
go
of
ahead.
everybody who's been seen in the Me Too movement, out of everybody who was uh, displayed and shown to be a sexual predator, he's the only one who's in court. He's
Okay,
the only one
but
who's
I
going to
will say
jail.
this. He was the first one who got called out. So it's basically just like dominoes. He was the first one called out. He was the first one to fall. And they say, oh, well, he doesn't deserve it. He's 80. He does deserve it just because I wouldn't mind Bill Cosby go away for the rest of his life in prison just because what he did is disgusting. It's just certain things that are just unforgivable, which is raping women, especially using your position of power to take advantage of vulnerable women or women who just want to get ahead professionally and using them being naive or using them not having full knowledge of show business or even just taking advantage of them, like the one of his victims, Lily Bernard. I apologize if I got the name wrong. She said that she was an extra on the Cosby Show, but what Bill Cosby did was he talked to her, and then he talked to like her family, like her brother, her mom, her dad, her sister, and so once he like set those seeds, like he was like, "Yeah, you're my kid." And once he set those seeds in like the family's mind, and when he did what he did to her, and she told the family, they were like, "Oh, you're tripping. Cosby would never do that to you. He's like a second dad. He would never do that." And so it's just like I get angry when I see people defending Bill Cosby because he doesn't deserve our defense. Bill Cosby was
I'm
the
not saying we should defend Bill Cosby. What I'm saying is, why is he the only one who's on trial?
Morgan.
Why isn't
It's
Harvey
just
Weinstein on trial?
actually I saw a I think charges have been brought up on Harvey Weinstein. I think I saw it today, but it's just like it's just basically the domino thing. Things took time. Harvey Weinstein got caught out last year. Bill Cosby got caught out 2 years ago, and so it's just like it's just the cycle. It takes time for things to happen. Um, but yeah, if you defend Bill Cosby, I definitely have to look at you funny because they're like, "Oh man, he was like our dad," and it's like, first of all, the Cosby Show was not even that fire. If we're gonna keep it 100, it was stupid. It came, and then Bill Cosby, the person, does not like black people. Like the way people defend Bill Cosby would not defend you. Bill Cosby said in I think it was like Spelman or it was some HBCU's graduation. He said, "You guys," he said, "maybe if you guys would stop sagging your pants, maybe if you guys would stop drinking, maybe if you guys would stop smoking, maybe if you stop doing all these things, you would be able to continue to society. Maybe if you grew up with parents, you'd be able to grow with society." And it's just like, yo, the same people who are going out of their way to defend Bill Cosby, he would not defend you. Okay. So happy 50th birthday to the Fresh Prince. Will Smith turned half a century. And how do you think he celebrated? Did you see how he celebrated?
Yes, I did, and I am still upset that as a country we couldn't stop that from happening.
What you mean? It was amazing
It,
content.
it's such a dangerous though. It's such like even like we all remember like in the Fresh Prince when Hillary's like
Trevor,
yeah, we
Hillary,
remember we
will
remember
you marry? Ah! So,
yeah,
basically,
like that's
so
all it is. Like in my head I'm just like how can we let him do this? It's playing with fire. It's playing with fire.
okay.
And you know, Will Smith, everything he's doing, he might be a bit crazy. He might be like this. But I want to keep him here as long as we can have him, and I don't like playing with fire like that.
Okay, so basically, we definitely jumped ahead. Uh, so Will Smith for his 50th birthday, he uh he bungee jumped out of a helicopter in the middle of the Grand Canyon, backwards out of a helicopter. It was very and he talked about I'm gonna put this speech at the beginning of this episode, but he talked about how to face your fears and to not be scared and to always go after what you want to go after, and I just feel like in the time that we are right now, that is the type of content that we need. We need motivators. We need people who are saying, "Don't be afraid to raise the bar for yourself." And don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in and to go after what you feel you should go after.
Yeah, yeah. I still think I'm not sure I wanted him doing that.
Nah, man, we got to do it soon. I think I'm gonna do it.
Definitely not.
I think
I'll go hang gliding.
nah, man, I'm going skydiving. I think I'm gonna do it for my birthday. I think you guys heard it here first. This is a 26th in Glencoe Super Flow Bro exclusive. For this is on wax. I'm putting this on wax right now. Morgan, all the listeners, you guys are my witness. For my 28th birthday, April 20th, 2019, I will be going skydiving. But it's on wax. It's on wax. I'm not cutting that out. You heard it, Morgan. Listeners, you heard it too. Hold me accountable. I will hold myself accountable. I'm going
We'll see
skydiving.
how that goes over with mom.
I'm going skydiving on my 28th birthday. All right, so so out of the kitchen into the living room. All right, do you want to kick this off, or do you need me to?
Why don't you kick it off?
All right, so all right, so basically, the Republican Party continues to show that they will put party over country. Last week, Ted Cruz posted up a video with Tim O'Burke, who's running against him for his Senate seat in Texas. And in the video, Burke was talking about how he believes African Americans who get shot by the police, who are like mismanaged and basically all of that. And so Ted Cruz was like, is this the person who you want in office? Basically trying to rile up his racist fan base and saying Oberg does not care about white people. Which is crazy because Ted Cruz, I believe he is Cuban.
He's Canadian, right?
Yeah, no, he's Canadian. Thank you. Well, that is still white, but he's Canadian. So it's just like, yo, you're bugging, man. But like,
how does a Canadian? Didn't he run for president? How was he running for president?
Well, Morgan, we will get to that next. We're in a constitutional crisis. There's so many things happening in the United States right now that we are in multiple constitutional crises. So basically, have you been following the Kavanaugh hearings?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Okay, crazy. So Kavanaugh did a 20-minute job interview where he cried, talked about his love for beer. He came off erratic. He came off hostile. He came off aggressive. If a woman or a person of color did those same type of antics, they wouldn't be qualified. They would have been disbarred from being a Supreme Court judge. And it's crazy because Kavanaugh basically.
Here's my thing about it, though.
Right.
Here's my thing about it, though. He's supposed to be a neutral party. Throughout that interview, when he was facing off against Dr. Ford, he continually proved that he was not capable of being an independent individual. He's
vindictive.
The Democrats were against him.
Yeah, and it's just the Supreme Court. You're supposed to be bipartisan, and it did not come off like that. It came off as when he gets confirmed, because he's gonna be confirmed. He's going to go after the people that came after him. He's very much a Trump in a judge form. Like, he's gonna go after Roe versus Wade. He's gonna go after voting rights. He's going to go after workers' rights. Like, he's going to be hell bent on making sure the people who have embarrassed him get embarrassed for a long term. And that is not how. That is I do not. I have not been in their minds, but I've read a lot, and I do not think this is what the forefathers envisioned when they wrote out the Constitution. And
I mean, here's my thing.
right,
I don't care what the forefathers say. I really don't. And everybody says that. And here's my thing. They were just a bunch of racist white people in a room who didn't care about poor people. They
Correct.
just didn't want to pay taxes. They didn't care about you, your country, your place, your house. They wanted land, money, power. Stop bringing up the founding fathers, everybody.
No,
Stop.
this is true. This is definitely true. But it's just like the Constitution.
You can't imagine and think about what the founding fathers wanted because they were 18 centuries ago. We can't look at the past. We have to think about now.
I actually was thinking about this the other day. I was on my way to work I was following the Kavanaugh hearings, and I was just thinking like we probably just need to blow up and start over again because it's crazy because we see when we go back up to like Timothy and Burnside and just to like being inclusive and having like to share like you grow up, we grew up like we have to share. Like my mentality is everybody eats. If you're around me, you eat. If I have it, you have it. That's just how I have tried to construct my life and my philosophies. Like if I have it, you have it. If I have any way to help you, I'm gonna help you. I don't expect the same in return just because I know that's how life is. But it's just like whatever I can do to make the people around me better, that's just how I like to operate. And so it's just like it's very discouraging to me when the people who we have placed in charge don't feel like that way. I don't know if you saw, but the lady who was crying to Jeff Flake while he was in an elevator that was going up. That's very much our democracy right now because as a politician, you should be a person of the people. Instead of going up in his elevator, he should have stayed there and talked to her and say, "Hey, your opinion matters. Your voice matters." And people are calling Jeff Flake a hero for going against the GOP and saying, "Hey, we need an FBI investigation." But Jeff Flake is no hero. Jeff Flake leaves office in about 6 weeks, and he's going to get a cushy lobbying job. And so, same with like John McCain. John McCain was no hero either because like we talked him up as like this maverick, but he was not a maverick. He was the exact opposite. He just went against the grain when it was convenient for him. And that's the same thing that Jeff Flake is doing because I don't think Jeff Flake cares. Like at this point, I don't think the GOP cares about legacy because they see like, I don't really like this whole history is going to look at you fondly because there are still people to this day who think slavery wasn't bad, who thinks the Holocaust wasn't bad, who thinks life was better when the United States was segregated. So it's just like history sometimes doesn't view people favorably, but there will always be an opposition that says, hey, this was not as bad. And so it's up to us right now to stand up and say, hey, this is wrong. But other than that, it's just like what's happening in the Senate in Capitol Hill. It's just very frustrating to see because although I did not vote for, of course, I did not vote for like Chuck Grassley. I didn't vote for Mitch McConnell or any of those people. It's just like at the end of the day, you are a servant of the people. Now, I know we do not, just because the way lobbying and money in politics is set up, we don't pay the politicians anymore. The politicians get paid by private businesses, by like the Nikes and by like the oil industry. That's how they make their bread and butter. And so it's just like when you are willing to, because this isn't just happening on the federal level. Unqualified judges have been pushed throughout the country. Like, just take a look. And it's just like people are so hell bent on like Kavanaugh right now, but this has been happening since day one of the Trump administration. Like, they have been appointing very conservative, very right wing, very politically motivated judges throughout the country. And it's just like now we see it like in the bright lights in the big screen, but this has been happening since day one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so yeah, Kavanaugh, he has not. Oh,
I just saw this. This just came up on Twitter. Trump administration used drastic climate change projection to justify weakening fuel rule.
yeah.
Into the Washington Post, Trump administration used National Traffic and Highway Safety Study to support its case that it was too late to maintain fuel emission rules. The study found that by 2100, under a worst case
2000.
scenario, global temperature. It's a date. Under worst case scenario, global temperatures could rise by 7 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius.
So basically,
My problem with this,
yeah.
my problem with this is the Trump administration is saying, "Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad." 7 degrees Fahrenheit is catastrophic.
Well,
That's dangerous.
yeah, and they basically saying, well, if it's already broke, don't fix it. That I seen the article you're talking about. They're just like, hey, it's already broke. Why should we fix it? And I think I may sound too ageist here, but I feel like there should be a cutoff for when you can serve in certain positions. Like, I think 70 should be the cutoff for all political positions. Because when you're like, okay, like let's take Trump for example. He's like 73. And so it's just like 30 years from now, he's going to be 103. His life will be drastically different than what it is right now. So it's just like he should not be making the decisions for people who will be here long after he's gone. So I think there should be a hard cutoff for political positions. But yeah, back to this Kavanaugh.
At least I think there needs to be a bigger push to have more younger people. Because Trump doesn't care about global warming. He's going to be dead in a couple of years. He doesn't need to care.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, back to this Kavanaugh thing. So Kavanaugh is basically, they're giving the FBI a week to do an extensive search about him, which is not enough time. He'll still get confirmed, and that's just it. At the end of the day, make sure you are registered to vote. Vote. Make sure your voices are heard. Yeah, there's a big push. I don't know how it is out there, but there's a big push in the city this weekend to go and get registered to vote. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm registered. Y'all need to send me my ballot.
Nah, you're registered.
You know what you want to do. What you want me to do, snitch? I know you don't want to give up the cops. What you want to do? Gangster. Big one. I don't give a fuck about your crime figures.
Lost a few cousins, now I'm losing another. Oh, I thank God that I'm close to my mother. Boy, I walked through that fire like Cain, knowing I was able to make change. Now through my eyes you see pain. Put your pride aside before you die. Only way to travel's flying high. We was always told we couldn't cry. Stay loyal, never switch your sides. Before you ever snitch, you better lie. 3 keys to live a better life. Forever beating odds, I must survive. Let the world know that I arrived. Yeah, I'm here now, man. Cutting through the game like shears now, man. Started off blurred, but it's clear now, man. Fucking up the feet, so I feel y'all, man. Gotta go, there ain't no stopper, yield. No respect that Rodney Dangerfield. Won't bat an eye if one of us is killed. Boys behind you ride with nerves of steel, for real. But that's just common sense. Through my eyes, see I'm intense. Look through my ride, cause I don't ride with tents. Trying to stay fresh like a pile of mints. I told y'all, stress been piling since. Ain't meant to survive, but surviving since. Just riding with the blues like I'm trying to crib. No acrobats, cause I ain't trying to flip. Just a little bit of passion is my intent. Sick of being broke, I'll grind for cents. For all my wrongs, I guess I'll repent. And then all my rights, you know I'll win. Make it through the rough, that is what diamond is. Gotta learn to wait, nigga, that's what timing is. I guess I gotta show people what rhyming is. While I'm trying to hold on to surviving friends, yeah. Through my eyes, I seen a boom. Josh said I couldn't stay, there's no room. DP, help me out, that's my dude. I gotta make a way or see a tomb. I gotta clean up, go get the broom. I gotta grow up, I mean soon. Little Lee is banking, know how I move. Motivation in and out like a prune. Keep it real with everybody's how I do. Let her go in there. can't approach something new. 18, 21, I was a fool. Last night I had a dream, it was cool. I can't fuck with you, you or you. This world is so cold, what I do. Write me a song and finish up a brew, yeah. And through my eyes I seen some shit, but my reflection's real as it get. Elliot too, baby, I'm equipped, yeah. It's just how I see shit, that's how I see shit for me. For the fam. Everybody fucking with me. So I want y'all to enjoy this Through My Eyes tape, man. Come vibe with the boy. Sally. Through my eyes, through my eyes, through my eyes, through my eyes, look through my eyes, through my eyes, through my eyes. If you could see through my eyes, through my eyes, through my eyes, come on and look through my eyes, my eyes, my eyes. Now you can see through my eyes, my eyes, my eyes. If you can look through my eyes, my eyes, my eyes. Come on and see through my eyes, my eyes, through my eyes. Come on and look through my eyes, through my eyes, through my eyes. If you can see through my eyes.
So that was a bit heavy. We're going into something that's a little less heavy, but it's still concerning. We're gonna be talking about comic books. So how do you feel about the DCEU right now? Or my
Here's the
fault,
thing,
DC Worlds.
Here's the thing. I know you might not like it, but I'm sort of liking this new push that they're doing.
What's the new push? What's the new push? What are they? What have they changed? What are they doing?
See, the reason why they rebranded it to DC Worlds is now they're not going to make it an extended universe. Instead, it's going to be like Elseworlds stories. So not every movie is going to be connected to every single movie. And the reason why I like this is they'll get away from the problem that all superhero movies now suffer from, which is that you always have to constantly mention like other movies and other characters, and it brings up a bunch of plot holes in there, like where's this guy, where's this person, blah 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 blah. And so what they're going to do is they're focusing on picking interesting creators and making interesting projects using the DC characters.
Okay, I will push back about that just because, like, hey, I'm completely fine with DC Worlds just because the way DC Comics is structured, like, it works best if they're separate entities in the same universe. Not even the same universe, like separate entities. Like in New 52, there was a time when Batman was struggling against the Joker in his own book, but in Justice League he was a god. So like I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is the marketing and the promotion and the communications about it. Just because, like, I know you saw the Phoenix, Joaquin Phoenix Joker pictures, which is like, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I think it's going to be an excellent movie. But you dropped this right before we haven't heard a peep about Aquaman since that trailer came out. It's just like, and they said they're going to drop another Shazam trailer. We haven't heard anything about Wonder Woman, which comes out next year. It's just, I find it just like weird the way WB is operating because it is WB, it's not DC. There needs to be a DC movies, just like there's Marvel Studios. There needs to be a DC Studios, which would contain all of this, even with like the Henry Cavill with like him leaving and him like leaking. There's not a person who's necessarily going to be there and say, hey, this isn't happening or this is happening. Like, it was like Zack Snyder, but when Zack Snyder left, Zack Snyder's still controlling the narrative of DC Worlds, which is like why they're having some of the issues when he's like coming out and like, yeah, nah, that was Dick Grayson's suit, not Todd Jason's. Blah blah blah. It's just like he's still controlling the narrative, and there's not a person there that's like, hey, my what I say is final. Just like with Marvel, they have Kevin Feige. Like, regardless of what he said, his word is final. His word is bond. With Lucasfilms, they have Kathleen Kennedy. Shout out to her for the re-up. They have like a person there that's like, yo, this is the ship. This is how it's gonna run. DC does not have that. They don't have like it just feels like there's a lot going on and there's no like clear direction.
Yeah, they have a problem with focus, and they seem to be taking a bit more than they can chew. But I think it's going to be if they can get these movies out and they start doing well, then they can pivot that into making a DC Studios and putting that in energy into just focusing up everything. But I definitely think I like this way of telling superhero movies because it keeps it from being like the problem that Marvel has, where it all feels the same because it all has to deal with everything.
Yeah, definitely. So just we're almost out of here. So last thing in the living room, diversity in comics. Well, it's not really diversity in comics, but we're going to be talking about Riri, Miles, and Shuri. Shuri, yep. So Morgan and I we had this conversation earlier this week. I talked about how I just wasn't excited for the Shuri book, just because I haven't really been liking the Black Panther series in general. Just like post Coast launch, like the book was fine, but just like Black Panther and the Crew and like all these other like Black Panther related titles, it's just like they just weren't good to me. And I'm more excited about Riri and Miles because I know they're in like good hands with like Eve Ewing. And so it's just like because I follow Eve Ewing on Twitter. She's very, I don't want to say woke, but she's very aware of her position and like just America and where we are. So I feel like she's gonna do Riri the justice that she deserves. Same with Miles and the author with Miles. I can't remember his name off top, but he's going to be doing justice with Spider-Man. And with Shuri, I think the expectations for Shuri are inflated just because she had such a prominent role in Black Panther. People are going to want to immediately get a payoff, and that's just not how comic books work.
Yeah, but I won't. And I told you this before. The author in charge of Siri, I think her name is like Nita Oxford. I talked about her in like one of my in my first Metro Meta. She is one of my top favorite writers right now, and her specialty is Afro sci-fi. It is the genre that Black Panther is, and she has a deep connection. Her family is from Africa. She is, I think maybe I don't want to just throw out a country. I know her. I know her family's from Africa. I've read some of her books. I read her Akante series, which was amazing. She's written with Black Panther before, and she's written, and that was sort of like her first like comic. So now she has the experience of she knows how to write a comic, and she's writing a character that I think is going to be deeply personal for her because she does have a young daughter, and she is a Black female. So this is going to be a character in the story that I think she's really going to pour her heart and soul into.
Okay, we will see. That's it for the living room. Grand opening, grand closing. Morgan, it's all you, man.
All right, I'm going to do it today. I am finally going to sell you to watch My Hero Academia, Marcus. What do you know about My Hero Academia?
I know absolutely nothing. I actually was going to get into it, but sure, sell me even more.
My Hero Academia, for those of you guys that don't know, is an anime. It's a shonen anime based on inspired from Marvel Comics, specifically Spider-Man. I know how much you love your Spider-Mans, and it's a superhero it's a superhero comic from a very different perspective because they're students and they're growing up to become heroes. And it's one of the best animes out right now because of the way it's structured and its drama. It has strong themes and it questions the point of the superhero and why they are important in a society. And it questions what happens when everybody can be a superhero. Because you live in a world where almost everybody has superpowers. And it can be pretty heavy. The first episode is super heavy. Like, I think the very first episode you watch, like, this mother tell her son that he can't be a hero because he doesn't have powers at like the age of 9, and you see him break down. His mom breaks his dreams. Like, it's super dramatic and it's very character driven. The characters are very interesting, and the world is so fleshed out. And I like the superhero structure in this show is a lot more interesting because unlike things like Marvel or like DC, these powers are sort of more like mutant-esque, more like X-Men-esque, where they're very specific and they come with certain drawbacks. Like, a character might be able to, say, use ice powers, but it freezes his body as he's using it, and he has to think about it. And so it makes for more tactical, like, battle scenes where people are having to have to think about what's going on and think about how they're going to use their powers in more creative ways than just get stronger. And it's really amazing. I think I encourage everybody, if you haven't been in anime, I think season 1 is dubbed, but you should look into doing this, looking into doing My Hero Academia, watching it. It's amazing. It's on Hulu. First 3 seasons. It's amazing.
All right, very dope. That's it for volume 2, episode 8 of the Super Flow Bro podcast. A few things coming down the pipe. So of course, Super Flow Bros drops on Tuesday. Dust Off the Cartridge drops on Monday. Wednesday we have a second Metro Meta. Thursday we're going to have I forgot what episode, but another Fantastic Flow podcast. We actually have a few announcements. I'm going to be holding those off until next week. Very excited as like the season's winding down, as baseball season's winding down. I'm going to be able to devote more of my time to 26 and Glencoe and creating new and exciting content for everybody, and I'm very excited about that. Do you have anything that you want to plug before we get out of here?
Just check out the new episode of Metro Meta when it comes out, and check out my past episodes. They're very interesting. I'm super excited for you guys to see what I have coming up.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, like, subscribe, comment. Follow us on Twitter at 26 and Glencoe. Follow us, actually on Twitter at 26 and G. Follow us on, actually it's 26 and Glencoe. Follow us on Instagram at 26 and Glencoe. Like our Facebook page at 26 and Glencoe. I should be able to change our YouTube account today to 26 and Glencoe, but for now, it's Marcus Flowers. That's about it. Thank you for listening. Until next week. Peace.
Whip brand new, stick brand new, bitch brand new, her lips brand new. Girl, you should slide, you should come through. I got my diamonds on in the booth. Baby, don't hide, I got the juice. I never lie, I'm telling the truth. Girl, you should slide, you should come through. I got my diamonds on in the booth. Baby, don't hide, I got the juice. I never lie, I'm telling the truth.
When I get that check, I'm acting brand new. Who the fuck is you? I don't know you.
Yeah.
I can't wife no bitch, they all ran through. Shorty know what's up, just let me know what it do. She wanna come through, do what it do. Greedy with the money, call me Mr. Scrooge. I don't say too much. Shawty, you fucking or what? Me and all my niggas is up. Me and all my niggas is up. I don't say too much. Shawty, you fucking or what? Me and all my niggas is up.
Yeah, hey. Niggas is mad, so what? I put OG in my blunts. I always get what I want. The one I already fucked. Yeah. We're brand new. Stick brand new. Bitch brand new. Her lips brand new. Girl, you should slide, you should come through. I got my diamonds on in the booth. Baby, don't hide, I got the juice. I never lie, I'm telling the truth. Girl, you should slide, you should come through. I got my diamonds on in the booth. Baby, don't hide, I got the juice. I never lie, I'm telling the truth.